if there's the tiniest bit of baby gravy in this house, I'm gonna find it!
Toot, what the hell you doing with that black light?
I want a baby. So, if there's the tiniest bit of baby gravy in this house, I'm gonna find...
For weeks now, I've had my social media pages be inundated with information about my need to vote, how to register to vote, repeatedly warned of the deadline to register to vote. It's everywhere. But that is something that is more pressing to me at this present moment than voting. If I knew that I were to vote and it would change drastically the things that are important to me at this moment and this hour, I would vote in a heartbeat. And that thing that is pressing on my mind is the decency standards that are set for humanity. What is your decency standard? Are you just as concerned about your standard and level of decency, even when no one is looking, as your concern for yourself and others to vote? I have sat and watched decade after decade of the message of the importance of your vote counting, and the decency levels of people have begun to lower and lower and lower. Where does your decency rank in reference to caring and protecting children? I've watched from the first time that I was legally able to vote when I was 18 up until now, and I'm almost 57, that the number of cases of sexual violation, torture, mutilation, manipulation, psychological oppression, spiritual oppression of children increased tremendously by the numbers decade after decade. How did the vote affect that? How did the vote assist with the numbers increasing? Our future depends on the condition of our young. How is the vote affecting that in the future? How is the possibility of the vote affecting that now? When I was 7 years old, I was exposed to the decency standard and level of a white European, of a Caucasian, of a European in appearance male who was in his 60s. He exposed his genitalia to me. And I believe that at that tender age of 7, because I was so in tune and so, how should I say, connected to my spiritual guides, that I was able to elude being a statistic in reference to being sexually abused as a child and the possibility of being abducted and also murdered. We know what usually happens. And that day, even before I began to take my trek home, because back then it was known for parents to allow their children to walk certain distances. We didn't have all the perils that we have now, but I learned early. Something alerted me in the pit of my soul that there was danger, and it instructed me what to do almost every turn. And if I had not been sensitive to that, and if I had not been obedient, I don't think I would be here either making this video because I was deceased as a result of torture, manipulation, and sexual abuse, or sexually abused and left to fester, making me a shell of what I am now. What matters to me is your decency level. If we don't zero in on a standard of decency and put it into motion for every being, we're going to have to suffer the consequences, and it's going to be done for us. It starts with the image in the mirror, and that's why I started first. And after I allowed myself to see me for who I was and to analyze whether I had been irresponsible, too trusting, too weak to do what it takes to protect one child. This is a very nefarious beast, and I could say over the past 5 decades that it has definitely morphed. It's not as timid as it was when I first encountered it. It's more ferocious. It's more arrogant. It's more of an exhibitionist. You may ask, how can you be more of an exhibitionist than when I encountered and was aware of the first predator that I was aware of? He exposed himself. But now the beast is showy. It makes fun of its victims by changing its skin and possessing something cute and dainty. There are videos across the internet of people making fun, making joke and light of being in scenarios where possibly babies can be eaten. Mentions of baby gravy. Of babies being tasty. It's not cute, people. And call me a zealot. I would rather take that than know that I'm assisting and I'm normalizing and conditioning the young to see this as a joke. So as you go and you make your parades and you give your politician accolades and you shun those who do not want to invoke their vote, just know that the lever is being pulled on your standard of decency.